Good afternoon, all. I have another book recommendation for you today. And that is, it is called Hell Before Their Very Eyes. And the rest of the title is American Soldiers Liberate Concentration Camps in Germany, April 1945. Trigger warning. I'm going to read you a description. I'm going to be talking about the book after I read the description. And it's about GIs who liberated the camps and their experiences, what they saw, what they smelled, what they experienced. If the idea of me talking about concentration camps makes you think, oh my gosh, no, that's perfectly fine. I have over 800 videos on my channel now. Feel free to pick something else to watch. I have really just something for every taste out there. So, and I get it. Now, for those who want to continue on, let's do this. This is an unabridged book. I listen to it on audible.com. That's how I read most books nowadays. It runs 6 hours and 37 minutes. It's written by John C. McManus and is narrated by Joe Barrett. If you're like me, you probably like to watch more war movies. I watched a lot of them when I was a kid, and nearly all were taking place during World War II. I would say that Joe Barrett's voice reminds me of any one of countless GIs in those movies. So I thought his voice lent gravitas to it, and certainly sounded like the right kind of voice for this kind of book. Not sure if I said it already, but it's unabridged. So let me read you the description of the book, and forgive me, I have to take off my eyeglasses to read. And actually, let me just go ahead and turn on the light. Oh, yeah, that's better. I can almost see this. I swear the font size is 8. It's so small. On April 4th, 1945, United States Army units from the 89th Infantry Division and the 4th Armored Division seized Ohrdruf, the first of many Nazi concentration camps to be liberated in Germany. In the weeks that followed, as more camps were discovered, thousands of soldiers came face to face with the monstrous reality of Hitler's Germany. These men discovered the very depths of human-imposed cruelty and depravity. Railroad cars stacked with emaciated, lifeless bodies, ovens full of incinerated human remains, warehouses filled with stolen shoes, clothes, luggage, and even eyeglasses, prison yards littered with implements of torture and dead bodies, and perhaps most disturbing of all, the half-dead survivors of the camps. For the American soldiers of all ranks who witnessed such powerful evidence of Nazi crimes, the experience was life-altering. Almost all were haunted for the rest of their lives by what they had seen, horrified that humans from ostensibly civilized societies were capable of such crimes. Military historian John C. McManus sheds new light on this often overlooked aspect of the Holocaust, drawing on a rich blend of archival sources and thousands of first-hand accounts, including unit journals, interviews, oral histories, memoirs, diaries, letters, and published recollections. Hell Before Their Very Eyes focuses on the experiences of the soldiers who liberated Ohrdruf, Buchenwald, and Dachau, and their determination to bear witness to this horrific history. And let me show you the book. This is the book right here. Now, what I read to you, I read from Amazon. I'll have that on my website, travelingforhistory.com, 1L in traveling, and you'll be able to see it. This is the book. A little hard to see because it's dark, and I'm sure it's somewhat blurry, showing you like that. So why do I recommend it? It's a fascinating bit of history. I was somewhat aware of it, but But it was really very interesting to learn more about it. There was a story about General Eisenhower and General Patton standing in front of a shed that had a really horrible smell emanating from it, and the smell of death. And Eisenhower said to Patton, he said, I have to go in. Now Patton, who was known as Old Blood and Guts by his troops, did not go in. In fact, according to Eisenhower, Patton went around back and threw up. Eisenhower told that story into the 1960s about Patton. And Eisenhower often commented, well, he said, I went in, but, he did not. The descriptions about these half-dead humans, shocking. I've seen photographs. I'm sure if you read these kinds of books, you have as well. I can picture the rib cage showing through the paper thin skin. There were descriptions of people who had hip joints poking through the skin, and that's just the way it was. The mayor of the town was given a tour of the place, and the mayor was absolutely horrified. He said that he didn't know. He just didn't know. And he was invited. It was more than an invitation. It was less of an, it wasn't quite an order, but it was more than an invitation to come back the next day and have townspeople with him. Next day rolls around and the mayor is not there. So the person in charge went looking for him. Now it turns out the troops who were there were staying at the mayor's residence, and so the mayor was displaced. He was staying with friends. The friends said that the mayor and his wife seemed upset. They took an early supper. They didn't really eat all that much, and the next day they were found dead. They had committed suicide because he was so horrified by what he had seen. He couldn't live with himself. So, it's interesting. I know the content, and I don't actually find it. I didn't find it depressing because I've read so much about the Holocaust, and I have since the age of 13, and I'm now 58. So 45 years of reading about this type of content, and you may find it horrifying. I don't know. I mean, I did not find it horrifying. What's horrifying really is the depravity of the Nazis. That's the horrifying portion of this, and the Holocaust victims who were there, and both dead and alive, showed the effects of the horrors of these Nazis. So that's the horrifying and disgusting part of the book. So that may sound a little strange, my reaction to it. Now, I will say that near the end, that it was a bit confusing. There was a lot of talk about different officers who were supposed to be put up for murder because they were so enraged by these SS troops that they would sometimes just murder them, just take a machine gun and mow them down. And that is murder, even though it's wartime. So, but I'll leave that to you to listen to it to see what happened to those soldiers. But overall, I would give this a very good rating. Out of 76 ratings on Amazon, it receives 4.6 stars. So there's that. But I do recommend the book. I think it's quite good. It's well written overall. And you really get a sense that you are there based upon how based upon the descriptions used, written. They're very, it's very descriptive. I can picture it in my mind's eye still, and I finished the book days ago. So, if this is your type of book, then I highly recommend it. If it's not your type of book, I hope you've moved on to something else I have on my channel. This is Patricia, and I am traveling for history. So, until I see you again, I hope you have a fabulous day. Hope there's sunshine where you are. And, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. On a side note, once I hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to have a live video. I've never done a live video before, so that should be pretty neat. So if you have questions, shoot me an email, travelingforhistory@gmail.com, 1L in traveling. And you can put in the YouTube comments, Facebook comments. Don't try to send me a DM. I don't respond to those at all. And I don't even think it's set up on Instagram. So just don't try to direct message me or try to message me on Facebook. I just don't answer that stuff. But if you leave it in the comments, I'll see it in the comments. So thanks so much for watching. You can follow me everywhere. Twitter's the only thing that's different, Traveling for High 1. And everything else is Traveling for History, 1L in traveling. So thanks so much for watching, and until I see you again, have a fabulous day. Bye now.